Ladies and gentlemen, Rafael Fiziev is taking on Manuel Torres this weekend in Azerbaijan. It's gonna be Neo from the Matrix versus Speedy Gonzalez and Angry Speedy Gonzalez, so a pretty good matchup, I guess. Also, we are getting blessed with a few good fights as well, so everybody please, let's lock the fuck in and let's break this card down. I am here to give you my predictions on the whole event. Also, 99.8 of you are not subscribed, so if you do love MMA content, if you do love discussing these fights with me, then why not hit me with a subscribe. Alright guys, enough of that, let's get right into the video. The first fight of the night, we got Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nacimento. Now this is a really suspicious fight to predict. Tahir Abdullayev is like 20-3 or some shit, and Jefferson is 13-0 undefeated from Brazil. The reason why this fight is hard to predict is because Tahir Abdullayev, even though he is like 20 or 21-3, this guy has beaten like a whole lot of trash cans, like with losing record guys. So this, I don't know, man. Jefferson Nacimento has beaten a few really good guys as well. Now I can see Tahir Abdullayev missing weight for this fight and being quite a bit of a bigger fighter than Jefferson, so I'm just gonna go with Tahir Abdullayev, even though their records are kind of similar. They both have beaten some trash cans. Jefferson has beaten a few good guys as well, but Tahir, complete fucking journeyman. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Tahir. I think that the Azerbaijanian scene at this point is a little bit better than the Brazilian scene, and he has more fights, more experience. So, and this is in his home country, so I'm gonna go with Tahir Abdullayev. I think he can get this one done. Also, he looks a lot more dangerous than Jefferson, so yeah, it is what it is. All right, moving on, we got Bekzat Almakhan versus Gian Matsumoto. Wait, what? Gian Matsumoto has 2 losses? What? Oh yeah, of course, Matsumoto lost with a split decision to Basharat. I thought he won this fight. What the fuck? I didn't even realize that he lost. Also, he lost to Rob Font via a split decision as well. Now, Gian Matsumoto is the favorite against Bekzat Almakhan, but I think that Bekzat is actually the much better fighter than Gian. They are also quite similar in height. Even Bekzat is a little bit taller, which he hasn't been like in the past few fights of his career. So I think that Bekzat can actually surprise here and take out Gian Matsumoto. I'm quite confident in saying that he will do that. So Bekzat Almakhan, his last fight was against Tuporia. Not a bad loss, even though that Tuporia's brother is not that good as him. But this was actually a quite competitive fight in my opinion, and it could have gone to Almakhan as well. So yeah, I think Bekzat skill for skill against Gian Matsumoto is actually the better fighter, and that is why I'm gonna go with Bekzat as well. This is gonna be one of the only times that he is the bigger fighter as well. So I think he has really got this in the bag. I do not know why the odds are so in favor of Gian Matsumoto. This is quite of a 50-50 fight with a slight edge going in favor of Bekzat in my opinion. Moving on, we got Daniil Donchenko versus Thedoor Bergern. Okay, so the UFC fucking website just doesn't load at the moment. So Daniil Donchenko is 13-2. He's coming from Ukraine. He has beaten a lot of trash cans. The 2 losses he has is actually not against that top level opposition. So this is actually a pretty rough fight to predict. I'm gonna go with Daniil Donchenko winning this fight just because I think that he has more experience against better guys. Now actually we have here 2 very low level fighters. I do not think that either one of them is that special. Daniil Donchenko is actually 13-2, not 14-2, so the UFC got this one wrong. Thedoor Bergern is 8-3. He is coming from Sweden. I have seen actually one Daniil Donchenko fight, and it was nothing special, but I think that can get it done against Thedoor Bergern, who's 8-3, with 3 losses coming against like some fucking unknown plebs. So yeah, Daniil Donchenko, I got winning this fight. Anyways, moving on, we got Kaan Ofli versus Javier Reyes. Now, Kaan Ofli, in my opinion, even though he is 14-4, he is so fucking bad, and I'm sorry for roasting these fighters, but like guys, some UFC fighters, like there are fucking levels to this game, and inside the UFC there are like really low level fucking fighters, and then there are really good fighters. But yeah, this Kaan Ofli guy is definitely belonging into the bottom of the skill set, even though he is 14-4. Javier Reyes 23-5. I think I'm gonna go with Javier Reyes. I've never seen Javier Reyes fight before. I'm not sure if he's even fought in the UFC before. Let's just see real quick. He has one fight against Silva de Andrade, but Silva de Andrade is like a little midget boy. Nothing special. I think anybody can beat Silva de Andrade, but I think I'm just gonna pick Javier Reyes just because I have have seen Kaan Ofli fight before, and it is not fucking pretty, guys. Javier Reyes it is. Moving on, we got Nursultov Ruziboev versus Andrey Pulyaev. Now, this is actually a pretty good fight. Andrey Pulyaev is 10-3, but man, Andrey Pulyaev is actually pretty good. He fought against Tahir, his last fight in the Contender Series, and actually it was a pretty fucking decent fight, I'm not gonna lie. Andrey Pulyaev had him in some deep shit at some point. Ruziboev's game plan is obviously gonna be that he's gonna hug him till the end. Now, I don't think it will work with Andrey Pulyaev. He has some like combat sambo background, and I do not think that he can hold him against the fence for like 3 straight rounds. And I think Andrey Pulyaev, once it gets separated, is a little bit better of a striker. Considering that, I'm gonna go with Andrey Pulyaev. I've seen both of them fight before. Ruziboev just hugs people against the fence and tries to beat him up there. I do not think it will work against Andrey Pulyaev, but hey, maybe it will. We have not seen Andrey Pulyaev be tested by like a high-level grappler before, but on the feet, Andrey Pulyaev definitely has that advantage. So I'm gonna go with Andrey Pulyaev. He is the underdog as well, so 2 underdog picks by me this card already. Let's see what happens. Now, moving on, we got Abdul, Rakhman, Yakhyaev versus Julius Walker. Now, Julius Walker is insanely dog shit. I'm sorry, I just have to say, like, some fighters are just like congratulations, guys, you did get to the UFC. You are like one of the best in the world, but even in the best of the world, there are fucking levels to this. There are the Lionel Messi's, Cristiano Ronaldo's, and people who are like on par with those guys. And then there's like fucking Julius Walker, who you gotta think like, what the fuck did this guy do to get there? I think Julius Walker is a really easy opponent for Abdul Rakhman. Yo, can this shit load, by the way? Like, what the fuck am I looking at? Yeah, so I switched to topology just because the UFC page did not load. So I'm gonna go with Abdul Rakhman Yakhyaev, just because I think that Julius Walker has many holes in his game. He's not that good of a striker. He is not that good of a grappler. His gas tank is below average considering the UFC. Yakhyaev has pretty much sped ran through every single opponent he has had in the UFC, so it's really hard to doubt him, and he will probably get this done with quite ease, I'm not gonna lie. Probably submit him once more, round 1. Yeah, I see it happening. Now on to another fight on the card. We got Farman Hasanov versus Eric Nolan. Now I'm gonna go with Farman just because I think he has had the better victories against better level opposition. Tom Nolan has beaten a lot of trash cans. His last fight was against Yakhyaev. He got handled with quite ease. Farman is actually 5-0. The loss you see on the screen right now is from an amateur bout, so you can't really like take it into account. But I think that Farman, training out of the American top team, is the better fighter than Tom Nolan. Going skill for skill, Farman Hasanov should have this one in the bag. So I'm gonna go with Farman Hasanov. Now on to another fight on the main card. Now we got Magomedov versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. This is actually quite a decent fight, a really fun one. Magomedov, I think, will get this one done. Magomedov should have this one in the bag. The only issue this guy has is his gas tank. We've seen him quit against Joe Pyfer. We've seen him quit against Sean Strickland. If you take that experience, you train even harder, I think that you are a better fighter than Michal Oleksiejczuk. Michal Oleksiejczuk has some pretty decent level wins in the UFC, but like Dumas and GM3, like those guys are so fucking done with the sport that I think that Magomedov might get this one done. He has faced up against better level opposition, actually taken some to the deep waters as well. So I think that Magomedov should get this one done. So moving on to another fight, we got Bruno Ferreira versus Ikram Aliskerov. Now this one is actually a pretty banger matchup. Ikram Aliskerov versus Bruno Ferreira, man, this should be a barn burner. I think Bruno Ferreira can get this one done, even though he got brutally knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez in his last fight, bro. But Gregory Rodriguez is a fucking tank. Everybody gets knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. Even though like this guy is pretty much a glass cannon fucking chin, you can easily get it knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. Now I'm not quite sure why Ikram Aliskerov is the favorite in this fight, just because Ikram Aliskerov's best win in the UFC has been against Sung Yong Park, who is like a fat fucking Japanese fighter, so I'm not sure why he is the favorite. Bruno Ferreira has definitely the better resume. Man, I think Bruno Ferreira is just a little bit stronger, a little bit more confident. If he did not get his confidence like completely removed of the Gregory Rodriguez fight. I think if Bruno Ferreira is actually about that life still, he can get this one done against Ikram Aliskerov, and this is like the third underdog pick on this card by me, but I do think it will happen. I would not pick these fighters if I do not think that they will win. I have a little bit of favoritism here against Bruno Ferreira just because I love his fighting style and I love the way this guy fights. This guy is never in a boring fight, so I hope he gets it done, and my pick is for Bruno Ferreira. Hey, and we're back to the UFC website just because this fight started loading again. I just checked. So the next fight on the card is also Almakhan versus Charles Johnson. Now it is so hard for me to pick against Charles Johnson on the flyweight division just because this guy is such a big weight bully that this guy like towers over his opponents. Going skill for skill, Azul Almakhan is definitely the better fighter, but man, it's so dangerous picking against Charles Johnson just because he is just that much bigger than all of his opposition, and he really does know how to use his length and his size to his advantage. Do not be surprised if Charles Johnson wins here, but going skill for skill, Azul Almakhan is definitely the better fighter, and I'm gonna go with Azul Almakhan as well, just because this guy is actually quite of a beast. We should see this guy in the top 5 in the near future of the flyweight division. Yeah, my pick is on Azul Almakhan. Charles Johnson is a really dangerous fighter to pick against in the flyweight division, so maybe a small bet on Charles Johnson is quite valid here, just because Azul Almakhan has never fought against this size of an opposition before. So Charles Johnson definitely could get this one done, but going skill for skill, also Almakhan is definitely the better mixed martial artist. Moving on, we got Nazim Sadikov versus Matheus Camilo. Matheus Camilo is a fucking piece of shit, guys. This guy, like, there are two types of Brazilians out there. There are the fucking beasts. Now, Matheus Camilo is not a tough guy. Really, really far from it, to be honest. This guy is such a fucking quitter. This guy is 10-3, but every single fight he gets so gassed after round 1 that you gotta think like, wow, this guy is literally giving up inside the cage after round 1. And that's what I've thought about his past 2 fights against like really low level opposition. So I'm gonna go with Nazim Sadikov winning this fight. He should get this done. Matheus Camilo, average on the feet, average on the ground, gas tank below average. Nazim Sadikov is actually quite decent. He has had some losses in the UFC. Let's check who those losses have been to real quick. Siam, no big deal there. Siam is a beast on the feet. Then he fought against Ismail Bonfim, managed to win that fight quite handedly, won against Moda. So Nazim Sadikov really should have this one in the bag. I'm sorry, again, I'm roasting these fighters, but Matheus Camilo, man, like, some fighters just need to be roasted. Nazim Sadikov definitely the better fighter. I'm gonna go with Nazim Sadikov. Moving on, we got Sharon Magomedov versus Michael Pereira. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something happened with Michael Pereira. When this guy came to the UFC, this guy was a fucking beast. I thought this guy might actually be in the top 5 in the near future. Then you mixed him up against some grappler guy, and this guy shat the bed. Like, this guy gets so gassed when he's up against wrestlers. Now, thankfully, Sharon Magomedov is anything but a wrestler, so this fight is going to be on the feet. But even on the feet, I think Sharon Magomedov is just going to be too fast for him, too fucking skilled, excuse me. Michael Pereira is quite fast, actually, for an old man, but Sharon Magomedov is just a little bit slicker. He rolls with some punches really good. He does not get knocked out. We saw him take some heavy damage against Michael Venom Page. He managed to tough through it, got to the decision somehow. I'm not sure how. He got really busted up in that fight, but he never gave up. And man, like, if I see that from a fighter, I think that really takes you a long way in the UFC. If you're not a quitter and you give everything to your fights, I gotta respect it, and that's why I'm gonna go with Sharon Magomedov. I think he is still better on the feet, and even in the grappling, Michael Pereira is quite bad. Sharon Magomedov, we've never seen this guy get tested in the grappling aspect before, but I doubt Michael Pereira will try to take this guy down. He should. If he wants to win, he really should take this guy down, but I do not think that Michael Pereira has the skill set to do that against Sharon Magomedov and even hold him down. I'm gonna go with Sharon Magomedov. I think he can get this one done quite handedly. So moving on, we got Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres, the main event of the evening. Really fun fight. Okay, this shit is not loading, so I'm just gonna go to Tapology once more. $7 billion company cannot make a fucking website. Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Rafael Fiziev's last fight was against Justin Gaethje. He did get kind of schooled there. No, wait. Rafael Fiziev's last fight was against Mauricio Ruffi, no? Rafael Fiziev's last fight was against Mauricio Ruffi. It was actually quite a competitive fight on the feet. Now, as you guys can see, Rafael Fiziev is on a little bit of a losing streak right now, but that is actually no issue because they are all against top level opposition. Twice to Justin Gaethje, one time to Mateusz Kamrat, where he broke his leg. Actually, that was quite sad to see. And then against Mauricio Raffi, but Mauricio Raffi is actually a really good striker as well. So yeah, it is what it is. Then we got Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres is 17-3. His last fights have been against Grant Dawson, Drew Dober, Ignacio Bahamondes, which he lost to, Chris Tonkin, Nicolas Moda. Now, these are all average level fighters in the UFC, but none of them are Rafael Fiziev. My pick for this fight is going to be on Rafael Fiziev. I do think he can get this one done. Neo from the Matrix will strike again. This fight is going to be on the feet. I think Mauricio Raffi is definitely the better striker than Manuel Torres is. I think also Rafael Fiziev has fought against better opposition than Manuel Torres in his career, and I do think that he will get this one done. So yeah, those are my predictions for this Azerbaijani card, Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions. Do you agree with some fights? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree? And yeah, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later, guys. Peace.